body, it's the facts we bring, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, Uncles ting, tis an uncle's ting. Pull up on the body, it's the facts we bring, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Whoa.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Unkles episode. Before we jump into tonight's episode, a quick shout out to Tricky Works. Now, Tricky Works provides tailored relocation and resettling services for individuals and companies moving to Port Moresby. With a structured arrival program for new employees, they help people settle into work quickly without hassle, delivering peace of mind from day one. The support doesn't stop at arrival either. Tricky Work stays connected until you feel safe, confident, and self-sufficient, making the transition to life in PNG seamless and stress-free. Make sure you go check out Tricky Works at trickyworks.com. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Unkles podcast. Today I'm joined by another very special guest that we had on a couple episodes ago, and this one, a few people, well, I'm not a few people, but a lot of people actually reached out. They commented, they said they loved the last episode with Phil Onasu, and it was a really great episode. And we talked a lot about mental health and how that's affecting PNG, especially the community and people in the community back home. So I'm really excited to dive into some of the more significant issues that we discussed on the last episode. But we're going to get into it, guys. And yeah, really keen to get into it. But Phil, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to be back.
Yes, so good to have you back in the Strike Studios. But look, let's start off with like how we always start on the Unkles. We always start off with the word of the week. And for you, in your last week, what's a word that you'd like to highlight?
Yes, I remember, if you can recall, I said, if you ask me this question again 5 weeks later or a year later, I shall still say courage. But I want to add a bit of a cream on top of that, which is resilience. It's another big word. It goes in line with the idea of if you have a courage, it also helps you to be resilient to do certain things, particularly around the topic we want to talk about it. We have to have the resilience and courage to reach out to talk to somebody.
Yes.
So it goes in line with courage and resilience.
Yeah, I love that word. Yeah. And it definitely, like what you said, goes in line with everything we're going to talk about today, I think. And look, let's not waste any time. I know on the last episode, we went through a little background about yourself, an introduction. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, go and check out that episode. Please do. Yes, but before we get into it, first question on tonight's episode is, what's sort of one of the things or what's different about mental health issues in Australia compared to Papua New Guinea?
Okay, all right, that's good. A good question. There's a two-part to that question I'm happy to talk about a little bit. In Australian or Western context, we are advanced around that because there are information, education, there's programs, people are already aware at schools, there's school counselors or guidance officers, they're already teaching these sort of things around mental health. Because it's the intergenerational sort of knowledge, the parents are also being informed around what is mental health. But the tricky part is what is mental health as opposed to what is mental health illness or mental illness. So mental health is your well-being. You got to take care of well-being, your health, and go in the gym, do an exercise, do all those things because you want to take care of your mental health. But mental illness is the reoccurring, it's more like a diagnosis.
Okay, yeah.
Like anxiety, depression.
Yes.
So the illness is the depression and anxiety, whatnot. So we, in Australian context, people are informed of it. People are already aware of it. In business houses, there are programs called employee assistance programs. It's government regulations to ensure that organizations emphasize around mental health. So we have those programs, so we are already aware of it. That's why we have in this show. That's why we have mental health, specific health centers and whatnot. But if you flip the coin around and look at it in PNG context, we seem to be a march behind. We talk about it, but in a brief, but we don't really know what it is. What is depression connected to? What is influencing a person to feel depressed? As you said earlier a little bit, I feel sad or I'm feel stressed out. But do we really know what's triggering us to feel stress? PNG context, we're still learning. I'm not saying that we are not educated enough to understand. We are, but we just don't talk much about it at workplace, at churches, at home. So there's a big gap.
Yeah. And would you say one of the major problems is we don't actually know what the root causes are of these things?
We don't know. And the sad thing is because we are culturally closed, I'll explain what I mean by that. We are culturally influenced. Our decisions making, our conversations are culturally connected. Therefore, when you tell me I'm really low right now, I might probably say, you know what, let's grab a few beers. Or let's go get a footy ball and let's go play around. That might help. We talk about for the now moment, that might help you. But did you learn something to help you down the track? If you feel stressed, you have the tool to work on? No, you don't. You get what I mean? There's a lack of educational awareness, and we're not informed.
Yeah, I like what you said about our culture will affect us making decisions on mental stress or mental health, mental illness.
Yes.
And I think a big one, and we touched on this with Angela, who's a registered nurse. A couple of weeks ago we had her on, but she does a lot of educational videos on safe sex and prevention of STIs, STDs, shares health statistics on AIDS and how to stay clear from that. But she talked about a big thing was, that Sam Pisin, or being ashamed of telling someone your feelings because of our culture.
Yeah. It's because our parents were told by their parents, and their parents told them, and our parents tell us. So it's an intergenerational, misinformed knowledge being passed on. That's not to say that culturally people dealt with differently. I'm not saying that. It's just that we have not been told the better way to deal with it. Culturally, as you said, if you feel depressed, you will feel embarrassed or ashamed to tell the next door.
Yeah.
Therefore, what you do, you bottle it in. So when you bottle it in, where's the gas gonna go?
Yeah.
It's going nowhere. So you bottle it up. So it comes out in violent way. It goes out in a lashing out the little ones or your wife or beating up somebody at the pub. We just don't know better of how to deal with it because we're ashamed. You know what I mean? We don't want to talk about it. Particularly males.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about this mental health.
Yeah. Well, that's true because reflecting on, when I was growing up in my 20s, early 20s, there was a lot of times where I did that, just not expressing myself, bottling things up. And then when things got a bit too hard, you go and drink and have try to write yourself off, and then things happen over the next few weeks. And then, like you said, when that gas builds up, then it gets to a point where it explodes. And that's what happened to me. And I when I hit rock bottom, that's when I had to reach out to your closest ones, which was my family. And thankfully at the time they were able to help me. But those things can definitely happen if you don't watch out for it.
That's right. If our loved ones do not understand the ins and out of what is mental health, they might not be able to help you out too. But if they at least are informed or know what it is, and, love and care and empathy, the kindness, these are ingredients for somebody to get better. If you are isolated, rejected, because you feel guilt and ashamed and embarrassed, you're already isolating yourself.
Yeah.
So culturally, it's a huge topic that government really need to put more emphasis around education.
Yeah.
And it's a work in progress if the government takes in a heed around what we really be doing to help.
Yeah, look, and you mentioned a little bit there, like identifying when someone's sort of isolating themselves or being different. But I think a big thing about sort of mental illness and stress is also the identifying it early.
Yes.
And identifying sort of the signs of anxiety, depression in adults, but also in children, and adults identifying that. So how important is that, and what are usually the signs that adults can see?
Yes. Okay. So I think that question goes back to the initial question that you're asking, the difference between Australian context and the PNG context.
Yeah.
In here, for instance, let's just take a young 14 or 15 or 16-year-old boy an example. He's a boy who goes quite often with his mates to play football, an outdoor boy, right? But all of a sudden, he starts to stay in his room and lock the door and stay away from social engagement. So that's where mom and dad need to be aware, okay, this is a different symptom right now. What's going on? Did he break up with his girlfriend? Did somebody bully him at school? We need to ask those questions earlier, mom and dad, or the guardians. Because I'm saying this because I'm informed of what it is, of mental health. But if mom and dad in PNG are not informed, they won't even pick up that cues. But it's not a rocket scientist to know if the son's disengaging from football or not going to school, or if your girl is not going to school or is locking herself in the room. Those are the early signs. It doesn't have to be mental health per se, but a trigger can lead into a young girl to be depressed. She might be bullied at school. It's a shame to come and talk about it to mom and dad, so she's trying to just bully it up. But the idea of bullying up, pushing away from social engagement, that's where mom and dad need to pick up early stages, as young as. Another one would be behavioral change. A kid who stays quiet, very respectable kid, starting to throw things and smashing things and swearing, and those are early signs to pick up very quickly.
Yes. Yeah, and that's perfect. And I think those that ties into our next question here, which is a really good one, and we did touch on it a bit before there, where I shared my own experience. But a lot of PNG men, we like to sort of keep our emotions inside, and that sort of comes back to culture as well and what we've known. Because looking back at it, our fathers, when we were young, they never really shared their emotions with us, so it's hard for us to share the same back. But how can, whether you're a father or a son or even just brother to brother, how can we sort of support each other in that space?
Talking about it. You got to talk about it. But the tricky part of it is PNG is a masculinity society, even though what do I mean by that is, like, look at our politicians, majority are male. Look at the department heads, majority are male. Culturally, women allow their husbands to talk. So in a devout conscious, men dictates decisions making or whatnot at home.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can tell now that predominantly male becomes the alpha male to make decisions for their families. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Or he'll be the one the breadwinner, to bring money on the table. In itself, it gives a psychological high power position. I am the one that's making money. You not. You stay home. You're the mother of the boys. You got nothing to say. I am gonna be the one saying things. 1, 2. The male becomes the important person. He has a status in a community.
Okay.
So people look up to him.
Yeah.
So he is already the higher ranking male already. I'm trying to come back to the question that you asked me, so I'm just giving a bit of background.
Yes.
So males are seen as the alpha male, alpha ego, upper end man. Therefore, it's more like untouchable in every level. I'm talking about psychologically.
Yes.
But if he is having a mental health problem, then we blame in sorcery. We blame in political jealousy. We blame in someone's jealous about it. But this guy is actually battling depression.
Yeah.
And like clinical depression. But culturally, we're looking at a different cultural lens.
Yeah.
And when this guy passes on, the whole world collapses. The alpha male, the breadwinner, the man who was seen as the next leader in the community is gone. So you get a lot I'm trying to bring across. So the man maintains that status.
Yeah.
But if he's having a lot of mental health problems, and if he talks about his mental health problems, his ego is been challenged. His status has been challenged. So he wants to avoid that. He don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So he keeps to himself. The only way he knows how to deal with is, generally speaking, pockets, drinking, promiscuous behaviors, those sort of things.
Yes.
That might give you the teeny tiny pleasure for the moment, but he ain't fixing the problem. So we put on this blanket on us. We put this jacket on us. Like me, I've got a shirt inside, but I'm putting this one on the top. I'm putting a different color for you to see on the top. But inside me, I'm been beaten up. I've been eaten up. So man maintains that status even though they are mentally not okay. Is that make sense? That's the bigger problem for us, because I'm ashamed to talk to my family because I maintain my family status. I maintain the culture. I am the one upholding my tribe. So I can't be broken. Yeah. So that's the fault of myself, not to reach out. But the very moment I reach out and say, I'm really struggling because too much family commitment, my finances are very low, I can't look after me, that's when the psychologist like myself comes in to say, hey, look, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this to help yourself out. Because your doctor, get the medication, help yourself a little bit. But I won't say that because I'm ashamed, because people are not going to respect me.
Yeah.
See?
There's definitely a lot of expectation from community, family, everyone, especially for those people that are in well-off positions, high positions. It's definitely a high stress zone that they're in. But I think, just going back to the differences between Australia and PNG now, here, it's so far ahead where, if someone comes out and says, look, going through a few mental issues at the moment, need to take a week off here, then come back. Look, everyone's so quick to easily respect that and say, look, he's a good man. He's done so well for us in our community. He needs some time alone with his family to step aside and do that. Whereas in PNG, if someone came out and said that, what are people going to say to that?
The sad part of it is, in PNG context, is mental health as a negative connotation. We define mental health in the PNG context, not only in the PNG, but probably the Melanesian culture. We define it in a negative way. So we define mental health. We are not defining mental health illness. What I'm referring is a mental health illness.
Yes.
The depression, the anxiety. But we even fear to talk about mental health. Mental health's got nothing to do with the illness. It's the health of a person.
Yeah.
But we take in a different thinking. So if somebody is not... Look, one very good example of this, there was a young girl who walked into University of Technology in Leh. When you put that in a psychological context, she need absolute help.
Yes.
But when I was reading some of the comments, they were like, send it to Laloki. See, that's what I mean by negative connotation.
Yeah.
That's why a very good question that you asked earlier on is what's the difference in PNG context and Australian context of mental illness?
Yeah.
And this is what we're talking about it.
Yeah, and that's a great example of
That's a great example.
You know, all of those people commenting, they're just commenting the wrong stuff.
It's wrong.
And
it's wrong.
you know what happened there should have never happened, and it's just it's a whole nother issue and topic, and it definitely stems from, you know,
the misunderstanding,
how that guy was feeling at that time, and what sort of depression or what sort of values he has, you know, been sort of taken to him as he was growing up. Obviously, at that time he didn't. You know, when we first had you on, we talked about you having a thought which came up instantly.
Yes.
And then the second emotion is your behavior and what you're gonna do.
That's right. The primary and the secondary emotions.
Yes. That's the one.
It's very. That's why it's very important for not just only in the PNG context, but you and I in Australian context. And this is what I always teach the defense, that before you come to see me, I want you to understand why you come to see me. Makes sense?
Yeah.
One example was about the rich guy with the PNG man with the status to maintain the cultural importance, and they not talk about the mental health. To get help, he or she must understand what is mental health illness. Is it anxiety, depression? Because anxiety, depression, I always use cousin brothers. You can't separate neither of them. They go in line.
Yeah.
So it's the awareness. We need to be educated. Just because someone might say, well, we educated Papua New Guineans. I respect and I agree. But are we educated in mental health illness?
Yes.
And that's a big issue that we need to talk about it. And it's supposed to be a daily conversation on a dining table, in the office, in the conference room, in the parliament building. There has to be a daily conversation.
Yeah. Especially at this day and age now, where there's so much going on in the world.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially with these little things we have in our pockets, on your phone, and the dangers that can possess as well. You know, looking back sort of 30, 40 years ago, there wasn't a lot of things that could distract people. Whereas now it's very easy to get distracted.
It's very easy. Very, very easy. Well, the technology has brought both good and bad. But if we rub aside the negative and look at the good side about technology, we can utilize technology to advance our understanding. And I don't need to be in Port Moresby to educate people. Just go to Google and ChatGPT or whatever. You research what is mental health illness. That's how we need to be educated. But we're not doing that.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest ones you can do is, you know, when I was going through things, you know, you can actually just Google it, you know. Like, I woke up feeling like this today. Why am I feeling like this? And a lot of people don't do that. It took me a while to do that, but when I did it, then I sort of understood, and, you know, you could read into certain things. Okay, you're feeling a little bit anxious here, but it's because of this, or it may be because
Yes.
this is why you're feeling anxious, because you got a big meeting that's coming up this week and you've been preparing all week, but also your relatives landed in Brisbane, so you're trying to juggle two things on the side, and that's why you're stressed out.
That's right. That's right. So that's what I mean by self-informed. We gotta be understanding, why am I feeling this? But coming back to the question of why we're not talking much about it, it's coming back to the cultural knowledge and the shame and the guilt, and I don't want to talk about mental health because I don't have it.
Yeah.
Sure, we do, as long as you're a human being. We are human beings, or we all have. We all have that problems, but either we deny or we just don't know where to start. And that's a huge difference between Australia and PNG. That's why Australian government puts millions and millions of dollars around mental health.
Yeah.
And they still pumping money because mental health is connected to your job, mental health is connected to your marriage, your relationship, your society, your life. It's all connected. You might get a job promotion, and you're the only black guy leading in the organization. You're already on a default. Negativity, the racism, they're all connected. So therefore, Australia takes number one priority around mental health. And we should be doing that in PNG too.
Yeah, we should be. And before we go into sort of the next question there, I thought of a funny thing, because when I first came over to Australia and I heard the word mental health, the first word that came up to that I thought of in Tok Pisin was longlong.
Longlong, yeah.
So,
yeah.
But if you think about it in the context of pidgin, and the word longlong actually means crazy.
Yes.
Whereas, it's so completely
Different
meaning to what mental health or mental illness is.
See, in the European or Australian context, I can tell, man, you're crazy. When I said it doesn't necessarily connect it to mental health.
No.
Maybe the way you're talking, or maybe it does absolutely totally different meaning. But that's the problem about us back home. Is a very one good example is when you see a homeless person at the Valley or in the Brisbane CBD. Anyone can say maybe he has some mental problems, maybe he marriage breakdown, maybe he lost a job, maybe he has no house, he lost a house. So there are many factors influencing that person. Therefore, you will see somebody buying him a drink and giving him more to that person or whatnot. But in PNG, when you see a homeless man, put it this way, I don't think we see the impact of being homeless in Port Moresby. What I mean by that is everybody's more like the longlongs, the crazy ones, right?
Yeah.
So everybody needs to go to Laloke.
Yeah.
That is the negative connotation. That's the bad way of looking at it. Because we really don't know its life or her life. Maybe the husband kick her out. Maybe he or she's from Southern Highlands, came to Port Moresby with her own husband, no family is here, and the husband left her, and she has nobody to find it hard to go. We don't see beyond what we see. In Australia, we see more because they're holistic mindset.
Yeah.
Our understanding has to be holistic, different factors. They say the hierarchy of needs. It's like a Maslow's need.
Yes.
The bottom line is the house, clothes, food, and all those goes layers upstairs.
Yeah.
So we have that understanding, the basic needs. Maybe she hasn't got a house to stay in Morata, so therefore she's sleeping on the streets. We need to see in that context. Just like we see somebody at the mall, I'll be thinking, maybe he must have lost a job.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's having mental health problems. But mental health problems are connected to his well-being, his finances, marriage, a lot of things.
Yeah. And that sort of brings in the importance of education and then people understanding, identifying all of these things early on, so that when they do see a person like that, they're a bit more understanding, rather than saying Shem Longlong and they need to go to Laloki. Yeah, which is just it's
just pushing away.
Yeah,
that's not intervention. That's ignorance.
Yeah.
And it's a sad fact that the mental health does not discriminate the unemployed people in Port Moresby. It doesn't. It impacts everybody. Anyone, from the Prime Minister's office down to whoever's on the road. It does impact people.
Yeah.
But because we are not informed and we are not educated, we don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Is it anxiety? Is it depression? Is it trauma? Is it sexual abuse? Is it bullying? We just can't pinpoint what it is.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Word there that you brought up, trauma. I think in the last episode you spoke about vicarious trauma.
Vicarious, yes.
And I really like that one because I only have to look back at my experience from growing up at home. I remember one time we were playing touch down the street at Gordon's 5 next to the National Library. And this guy was drunk and he started beating up his wife. And I was a young kid at that time, probably 9, 10 years old. Didn't understand what was going on, but also it was the first time that I had seen this in front of my own eyes. Thankfully, some of the older boys that we were playing touch with that lived on our street, they went over and they stopped the guy from doing that. And they got him to, leave the lady, and they sort of took her in and took her to the boy market so that we could help her out. But me that night going home and seeing that, there was a lot of, I'd say just misunderstanding of, why would a guy do that to a lady? And then when you brought up vicarious trauma that time, I quickly Googled it after the episode and read into it. And I think that's a huge issue back home.
It's a massive, massive problem intergenerationally. Look at the tribal fights. Put it this way, where did they learn to fight tribally now? Where did they learn? Who taught them? Because they've been taught from the early age. Kids grow up knowing that uncles and fathers going to fight with the tribe, so they knew all along. They only know the better way to fight somebody. They don't know the impact that has on young fellas. And put it this way, if someone, for instance, from a young man who grew up in the Southern Islands, ended up coming to working in the farms in Australia, right? What you've learned, he's conscious, he's thinking, his mind, the primary emotions, secondary emotions, everything he learned are culturally intertwined. So when he comes to Australia, he only knows how to deal with how his uncles and dads used to do back in PNG. So if this guy gets into a relationship with an Australian educated woman or somebody from Australia here, and he doesn't know how to deal with it, he don't know how to deal with better ways. So last night, you go to drinking, come home, beat her up. It won't change the man unless that person has been educated, been told that this is not the right way to do it. Because we are not informed, because we are not being educated at the school level, at the primary school level, at the kindergarten level, the primary school, all the way to university, we are not trained in the specific around mental health and mental health illness. Therefore, every decision will always be culturally influenced, regardless of where you are. Whether you go to England or Australia, if we come with this cultural, deeper rooted understanding, we won't change.
How important is poverty and I'd say unemployment, no jobs, that would have a big impact on the community's mental health.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because a lot of people are then second guessing, they're thinking about, oh look, I can't get a job, so you know.
They're all connected.
Yeah.
I think in 2019, the UNICEF had a research, particularly in the PNG context around mental health.
Yeah.
The two main mental health illness is depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Those are the two main. But this is not based, I shouldn't say research, survey. They did a survey.
Okay.
So which basically they interviewed professionals in one particular location, which was in Port Moresby.
Yep.
So according to the survey, depression and anxiety were largely connected to their workplace, and the personal life. Wow. Remember, and it's around 11.9% of the work professionals in Port Moresby are impacted with mental health. That's a big number. But if you look at the whole Papua New Guinea, it's massive.
Yeah.
So anxiety, depression, loss of job, poverty,
Yeah.
not enough pay. He's got like 10 people living in his 2-bedroom house, and he's only the sole person working, and he's got too many mouths to feed. His earning is very low, but remember, culturally, he has to take care of his family. So because there's no big income, it's very low, and socioeconomic is very, very poor, very low. So this guy will feel depressed,
Yeah.
but he's not gonna tell the family because he needs to be mentally okay to look after this mob.
I actually, when I went back recently, I met with a few of my friends who are, they're doing really well in Port Moresby. They've got themselves really good jobs. They're around my age, so early 30s. But I can tell that, like you said, they have become the sole providers for their families. So not just immediate family, but extended family.
Yes.
A lot of relatives that come in from the villages end up at their house, and they look to him to provide some sort of money or rice or oxen palm, tin fish, whatever it is. And as a young sort of 30-year-old, 31-year-old with young kids or no kids even, that can be really stressful.
It's very stressful, and low socioeconomic, poor sanitation, poor health. I think right now PNG is the lowest country to pay hourly rate, $3.45 something. This is lowest that can pay it. And if you think about somebody looking after 10 people, that's like extended, and the plus his wife or his children. It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
That's why he would end up going to the pub, not going home quickly, starting work late, finishing work late. It's a lot.
Yeah. And at the moment, there's been a lot of things come out on drugs, police finding drugs, but also I wanted to highlight alcohol, buai, betel nut, cannabis, and ice. These things are quite prevalent in our society today. Those things must play a major role in anxiety and depression as well.
Because it does play a lot of role, because the betel nut, smoking, those are all, as I said earlier on, in some Pacific Island cultures, they drink kava just to sit down, talk, and relax, whatnot. Why? Probably initially back in early stage was something like that, but now it's more of like a commercial. People are making money out of certain betel nuts and whatnot, because people are not earning enough money to get that for everybody. The only way they think about it is, I need to go chew a betel nut and I need to relax myself out, or I need to go drink, I need to go smoke, I need to free myself. But if mental mentally, if that person is informed, the better way to deal with it, sure, you can have a 1 or 2 build nuts, but it doesn't have to be an addictive behavior. See, I was at the 5 Mile where there's a lot of Southern Islanders that build nuts around the street.
Yeah.
So I went with one of my cousin brother, and I saw this Prado put over, and he put a 200 kina and bought build nuts and pack them up and just to go home.
Wow.
But you mentioned the 200 kina could be used wisely to buy something at home. Maybe he was a rich guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. The point is that people excessively use whatever money they have on alcohol and drugs and pockets and whatnot, because they feel that it gives them the pleasure and feels good.
Yes.
But that feels good and that pleasure is for a moment. It doesn't fix the problem. Hungry people at home. It doesn't help you. Because your income is very low, the bribery comes in. If you're a person in a higher position and your earnings are very low, you have to look at the means and ways to make extra money, and which ethically profession that's not good at practice too. So those build not the smoke whatnot, they are all connected. That impacts our mental health. Not only mental health, but it does also impact our own physical health. That reduce the life expectancy. I think, if I'm not wrong, 65 or something is a life expectancy for a PNG male or a female.
Yes.
But in Australia, I think it's around 70, 80, around that. Look at the bigger difference.
Yeah.
And then we don't do exercise. I mean, some people, respectfully, the majority are now going to gym,
Yes.
but generally speaking,
Yeah.
a lot of don't do exercises.
Yes.
And then when somebody passes out, think about the guy with the community. He has to maintain the community status. Think about that guy, and if he falls down on a heart attack or something, we're not gonna see as a consequence of his health. It's a life disease. So we're not gonna see that, but we're gonna look at, you did it, you need to compensate.
Yeah.
So that's the negative way we see it. So it does not only impact the mental health, but it does impact our health, our physical health, emotional health. It does impact people around us as well. So it's a big topic that, as I said earlier on, it need a greater attention to it.
Yeah, I think one quote that stuck with me since early 20s was short-term pleasure, long-term pain.
Yeah.
And those things, like, your alcohol, boy, cannabis, they might feel good in the moment, but as we said off air, you wake up in the morning and you gotta, you're hungover or you can't think straight, and you're just you're not yourself.
No. I think that another big problem that's happening in the PNG for the last 5 or 6 years is the rampant introduction of ice in PNG. I don't know whether people understand the impact ice has on people. I don't know, because it's a killer disease, and if you get into it, you can't get out of it. And people are. I was in Motu when I was there, and somebody told me about predominantly who mostly use the ice.
Okay.
And I know, it's a massive area that people are either purposely or intentionally using it, or because they used it and they can't get out of it, they become addicted to it. But regardless of which angle you look at it, it's getting, it's a bigger killer now at the moment. I'm not sure it's just already tried to lay Medan and other places, but Port Moresby it has.
Yeah, it's really scary, and where I've watched a few videos and seeing the same sort of thing over in Fiji. I believe Fiji is running through the villages there. But the scary thing is that here in Australia, they have mental health prevention, and they also have drug addiction prevention. Whereas back home, we don't even have mental health prevention.
We don't have it.
And the drug addiction prevention is a whole different thing to mental health.
It's different, and we don't have. They call it here. We call the detox center. If somebody is an addicted, and he goes admitted to an hospital, the hospital health workers, not all of them are trained in that area, so they need to go send him to the psychiatric ward or the rehab. They need to get help in the rehab to detox first to help. We don't have that system in the PNG. Here, government puts a lot of money to the organizations, community-based organizations to help. We don't have a community-based organizations in PNG to even help. Yeah. Now think about it. We talk about shame and guilt. Let's just say if somebody has been found that he's been addicted to ice, and this guy who's been addicted to ice is a community figure, someone who knows, someone who's well known in the community, he's not going to go to the community and I'm addicted to ice. He won't disclose it. Yeah. The shame and guilt. So it will continue to impact on him. So he's not going to reach out for help. Yeah. So it's a massive area. Here we are advanced. As I said in the beginning, Australia, its government puts millions of money into it. Yeah. We're not. Yes. We're not. Even the survey, the research done by the UNICEF says that there is a government national plan 2030 or 2050. They have a plan, but 94 strategic plans been mentioned, 94 of them, what government need to do about it. Okay. But out of the 92, only 2 are talked about mental health. 2 plans. Wow. But the 2 plans mostly around referral and health professionals taking care of the workers at the hospital base. This is absolutely nothing to do with preventative measures or any plans whatsoever. Jeez. Out of 94, you only have 2. I don't understand the logic there. See, that's what I mean. We don't talk about it.
Yeah, that's a scary thing. And
I've got the research with me.
Yes.
Where it says that the research recommends 94 in health. Yep. But majority has to be around mental health, psychosocial health, psychological intervention, community-based, holistic-based, culturally sensitive programs. Yep. But there's nothing of that has been mentioned. We don't have that. But if you talk about an Australian context, there are programs everywhere.
Yeah. And look, that's a great segue into our next question, because this one's quite a big one. But what can the PNG government do? And we've been talking about it for some time over the last few episodes. But we're coming up to our 50th year of independence now. Yes. And there are a lot of things that need to change. And myself and the 2 other uncles, we really feel like mental health is such a big issue. But what can the PNG government do to assist with mental health for the nation? And
that's a very good question. I can touch a little bit around it, but let me respond by saying this. We have lost 50 years in the PNG context. We can't take it back, but we can do for the next 50. We can't go back and undo or talk about we never done this. 2025, 2024, we never done this. The last 50 years, we never done this. We can't talk about that. It's gone. But what we should be talking about at the round table is what is government's next year 50-year plan. What we should be doing. My thoughts around that would be education. Starts from education. It actually starts from the early childhood learning starts. Hospital-based, school-based, university-based. Education has to be key around this. Because remember we talk about the primary and the secondary emotions, that's determining factors of how we see and how we respond to it.
Yes.
If a kinder teacher raised a 6 months old baby in a more caring, more loving way, it will grow up, the person will grow up knowing how to respect someone. The little things like respecting, say thank you, excuse me, those are little teeny tiny steps where we need to educate the young ones. How to respect an adult, how to respect a teacher. The education level, we need to go back to preschool. Government need to have an intervention programs to start from the kinder start, all the way to university, to remodify, rechange our behavioral thinking, to focus on the cognitive thinking, the intellectual function. What is my common understanding? What is my primary thinking? If you come to see me, say you'll come and see me at 9 o'clock, but you don't turn up, and it's an important meeting, right?
Yeah.
If you don't turn up quickly, I have to be feeling, oh my God, what's happening? I need to feel and think what's going in my mind. We need to teach the little ones how to do that, how to recognize the early signs of their feeling, how to respond and talk to mom and dad. That's the start. 1. 2 is government need to pay more attention on cultural sensitive programs. Why I'm saying this is we have different cultures, different expectations, almost 8,000 plus, I'm assuming. So we have a different mindset. Each province need to take a heed around this. A program that's connected with cultural elders. We have chiefs. We have community church members. They need to have a collaborative programs that targets around this. And second, on top of that, will be government need to fund in our availabilities. Yeah. They need to work around it. We need the education one. We need community-based programs. Like my little work I do is trying to help people to change their thinking. We need a community-based. I know they've got some programs in PNG like look at in Pikinini or some sort of programs there. Government need to more pay attention to those programs. Because those are the frontline workers, they call it. They're the ones who will go to the schools. They're the ones who will go to the hospitals when mama just had a baby. And pay attention to those mothers. Because mothers mostly have what we call postnatal depression.
Yes.
And we do have in PNG, but because we don't know what it is, we don't talk about it. So they need to be funding allocated for around that. It's a big area, but government need to focus on what next for the next 50. Education programs, community-based services, inviting other professionals from other countries who know more around this sort of area,
yes,
around education.
Yeah.
University need to pay more attention around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's perfect, and I hope we can see some of those changes come to fruition in the next 50 years, because there definitely needs to be a lot more education and knowledge passed on to not only those healthcare workers, those professionals, our teachers, but also parents in general. Because I think at the end of the day, when those kids do leave school and go home,
they're well informed.
Yes,
they're well been educated well, so they will respond and react well in the cultural expectations. And one thing I want to stress a little bit is a few police officers in the PNG have reached out to me how damaging their mental health is because of the work, because they're exposed to the constant trouble fights, they're exposed to constant murders, they're exposed to constant problems in the PNG. And these police officers aren't getting the support they need.
Wow.
They don't. And this police officer has been constantly asking me to help him to regulate, manage his mental health. And I have been helping him out. It's almost 3 years now. He reached out to me just to talk about his life. But he says to me that it's a bigger problem. We only see the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
It's a massive, deeply rooted problem. It's impacting the place. And look at who's helping the defense who were in Bougainville crisis, Bougainville war. They were exposed to trauma. They were exposed to killings. We can't deny that. Who's looking after these guys? Who's looking after police officers? They go to Warbeck and they're seeing these shootings everywhere. They go home. Who's helping them? These are massive areas that needed not only government but tribal, cultural, community-based organizations, NGOs, health, schools. This is not just the tribal fight and the violence in Papua New Guinea cannot be only resolved through using military or police. It's education.
Yes.
It's employability. They need to, the holistic, we have to have a mindset of creating jobs, education, law enforcement agencies, because almost 70% of people live in remote places.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
think about how many people aren't working. And it's a massive area.
Yeah, it's huge. But no, thank you for sharing that. And to finish off, I think what's some advice you would give to someone who is probably going through anxiety and depression at the moment, or has some sort of mental illness?
Given that the research done by UNICEF suggests that anxiety and depression is the main at the moment, my advice to people who have those sort of anxiety and depression is reach out, talk to somebody, recognize the early signs. One example could be if you're a person who are socially engaging but you're disconnecting, those are the signs. If you're a person who are a caring and loving person but you've been abrupt and your behavior has been different, recognize that. If you're a person who drinks 6 bottles on the weekends only, but it becomes an habitual behavior, weekly basis, that's a signs of early signs of anxiety and depression. Depression could be you be looking at dark places only. Depression takes you down.
Yes.
Depression drags you down like a magnet. Anxiety takes you to the next level. You're anxious about it. Oh my God, I need to go to job interview. Oh my God, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to see my boss. So you feel anxiety, you sweat palms, and sweat forehead. So those are the early signs. You're fidgeting, you're shaking, and you're driving, you tap in a car, which behaviors you never done before. If you're doing those sort of behaviors, those are the early signs. Depression, you're sleeping a lot, you're drinking a lot. Those are the signs of recognizing very quickly. But regardless of which angle you're looking at it, it's very important to reach out to talk to someone. You don't have to go talk to your uncles and aunties or your family, somebody you know or connected to, but someone you trust who can listen to you.
Yeah.
The problem at the hospitals at the moment is respectfully to health professionals. Not all the health professionals in the health hospitals are trained in mental health. They're not. If you go talk to a health professional who is not a specialist in mental health, what you're actually doing is you're re-traumatizing yourself. You're exacerbating your problem already because you're talking to a person who's not informed. So it's very important that you talk to someone who at least have an idea of what is mental health illness.
Yeah.
But however you see it, it's important to reach out to talk to someone. It doesn't matter you've got a 7-figure income and if you're driving a big, nice, luxurious car, mental health doesn't discriminate. It comes to everybody, anyone. So it's important to recognize that.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing that, Phil. And yeah, if anyone out there is, feeling anxious or depressed, You know us here on the Uncles, we're always open for a chat, and I know Phil is too. So
Yeah, they can reach out to me too.
reach out to us, and we'll have a chat to you. But thanks so much, Phil, for hopping on again, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.